All right, we'll get going on the meeting. Good evening. Welcome to the February 27th, 2023 meeting of the Marshfield Planning Board. The time is now 7 p.m. Tonight's meeting is being recorded by MCTV, and we are holding a live remote meeting via Zoom. Tonight's members here tonight are Katie O'Donnell, Nick Papastratis, Fred Monaco, Kevin Cantwell, Mike Viviano on the chair, and our associate member, Scott DeCastro.
Yeah,
Also
Nick's too.
I forgot Nick. Okay, Nick's here too. Nick Papastratis. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, no, I think you said it. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Greg.
Sorry.
Also here with us tonight is Greg Guimond, our town planner, and Karen Horn, our assistant town planner. At this time, we'll make a motion that we open tonight's public meeting and waive the reading of the notice. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick Papastratis, aye.
Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, the meeting is open. The first thing on tonight's agenda is an A&R for 37 Cornhill Lane. Greg, is this a public meeting to open?
Nope, it's just an A&R plan.
Okay, so we're going to go to 37 Cornhill Lane, the A&R plan.
So Mike, on this plan, there's two lots. Lot 1, which is now called New Lot A, which is the larger lot to the right, and the former Lot 2, which is the new Lot B, which is outlined in the pink versus the old orange line for Lot 2. So we're not creating any new lots. It's a reconfiguration of the old or former Lot 2 into the new Lot B, which makes it a little wider than the older lot, but a little shorter to give more room, I guess, for the horse stables and stuff going on to the south there. So as shown, the plan can be approved by the planning board.
All right, thank you, Greg. Any questions from the board at all? All right, seeing none, is anyone here from the public for this? All right, I don't see anyone here for the public, so I'll make a motion. We approve tonight's A&R for 37 Cornhill Lane. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick? Nick's on mute, I think.
Nope. Nope, now he's muted, I think. Nick, can you unmute yourself?
All right, we'll just go back to Nick for a minute. Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
Okay, and Mike Viviano, aye. We'll try Nick one more time. All right, well.
You have a majority, so it's all right.
Well, we'll say Nick was unable to vote. All right, so that passes 4-0, with Nick not able to vote. Let's see. Next, we're going to move on to 612 Plain Street. This is a modification to an existing plan. I believe this is the traffic light plan.
Nope. This is the DJ Sullivan.
Okay. Yep.
This is a minor modification to previous decision that would change condition 3A, that the wells. The old condition stated the wells should be sampled quarterly, and the change is requested is to semi-annual. And the second change is under 3D, a reduction in the lab analysis to the selected 15 compounds as identified in Table 2 of the TMDL Solutions memo dated January 14th, 2023. That's Ed Eichner's report. And for the semi-annual dates for the testing, my recommendation is that the planning board would receive the reports no later than April 15th for the spring and no later than October 15th for the fall.
Did they ever have the baseline testing done, Greg?
Yes. So that's what we've had 4 sets of testing now.
Okay.
And a number of the, there was like 38 original things that they were to sample for, but a majority of those have not come up. after the initial test and stuff, so Ed Eichner is okay dropping those.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions from the board at all?
No.
Greg, what was your recommendation on these changes?
To approve the changes.
Okay.
And I've sent a draft decision to you guys to look
A lot
over.
of letter writing and talking. Oh, yes. And so,
Hey, Bill Caffrey, can you mute? There we
Yep, I
go.
just muted.
Thank you. So there was no questions on the board. Is there anyone from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the request changes for 612 Plain Street modification. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Hi, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick? Nick, where'd you go? Oh, I don't see Nick again.
We lost Nick.
We might have lost him all together. Oh, no, he's still on here.
Yeah, he's still here.
All right, well, let's move on. Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. So that passes 4-0.
We do have Scott. He could vote on this. It's a special permit.
Okay, that would be great. Scott DeCastro.
Scott DeCastro, aye.
All right, it's great to get you on a vote. Perfect. Okay, for 5-0. Thank you, Scott. I'm not sure what's going on with Nick, but Nick, if you're having issues, just call me or call Greg, and if not, we'll just keep moving on. All right, next we're going to move on to 965 through 985 Plain Street, a continued public hearing. I'll let Greg take that over.
So we have Steve Guard and Deb representing the applicants. So go ahead, Steve.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to finally get to the point where I think we're going to get this one over the hurdle tonight. So with your approval, of course. Deb was able to, so we gathered all the comments from both yourselves and the Board of Public Works and other parties that have reviewed the plan and have interest in it. We were able to minimize the drainage components located on town land by moving a good portion of the drainage over to parcels C and D. Those are the two little parcels that are on the west side of the subdivision road closest to the dispensary, and then in the additional lot in the back. And then we also divided parcel C into two parcels after realizing that we can't, when it was decided that we would retain ownership to that parcel, we realized that it would violate the 500-foot rule from the dispensary. So we divided it into two pieces so that part of it will be joined with the lot where the dispensary is. And the other part will be put into separate ownership, whether that's the town or something else, whether it gets left with the Martin family or the town. But we would like to see it probably go with the town so they can control that spot. Then we were able to expand at C1, I think, Greg or Deb. Yeah, those are the two parcels. We kind of divided them up into two pieces. So lower parcel would be obviously can't be in ownership with a dispensary. That parcel would be okay. Yeah. So, and then the other parcel, if you want to roll over that's parcel D, and that where a lot of the drainage went into that parcel as well, extending a little bit by easement onto lot 5. Then the drainage basin on the town was then expanded. Rather than put a second basin next to the one that's there, we were able to eliminate the berming that's required and the separation that's required under the regulations, having two drainage retention ponds, basins in the same area, making it, having the overall size be smaller in combination with the existing drainage basin, and then squeezing it all into that sort of southwest corner of what I would call the town lot, right? And then let's see, we added the 4 street trees along Plain Street. Those are the ones that were displaced or unable to install because of the retaining wall in the road grade that's necessary for Road A. We moved all of the street trees in question with respect to the ones that Greg had commented on that were not in the public road layout. They're now all in the public road layout. And we did not adjust Road B. The width of Road B stayed the same after consulting with our traffic consultant. they thought it is typical for that section of an entryway onto a main traveled way to stay wider to allow trucks, and then it is also common to have it narrow as it goes up into the back part of the subdivision. So there was no feeling that that was going to be a problem, and the engineering required to move it was going to be heroic in nature. So we left that the way it was. The juice was not going to be worth the squeeze, as they say. So that's that. So then we submitted a letter from the traffic engineer a while back with respect to that issue, and also with respect to the location of Parish Path in relation to the signal. Our traffic engineer opined that he confirmed what we had suspected before, that the distance from Parish Path to the School Street portion of the intersection was in compliance with the regulations, and that Mass DOT had no issue with that. And in their opinion, it would enhance the Parish Path folks' ability to gain entry to Plain Street with the pausing of the traffic as a result of the light. And again, Mass DOT had no issue with that location. After running it up the flagpole, we came to the conclusion that there's just not much we could do on our side with respect to changing that, and it is going to be an improvement overall. One last thing I would mention is that if you look at the lower parcel next to the Quirk driveway, the Kia driveway, that's not a drainage basin. That's just grading. See the topography lines are close together there. That's just grading to reach the grade of the road, and that's about it. We added the berm on the entrance to the Quirk driveway to make sure that none of the water from Quirk would end up rolling down into the town land. And of course, the Quirk driveway's drainage is the stormwater runoff is all incorporated into the design plans. The good news is that this plan, as you see it, still contemplates a full build out of the proposed lots, the proposed creation of the new lots. So we didn't have to ask for a waiver of the board's typical regulation or policy to present to the board a subdivision plan that includes drainage that contemplates future full build out. And I would imagine Deb would be able to confirm that whatever we do back there, if there is some sort of other use that might increase the stormwater, they'll have to deal with that on their own. But certainly the reasonable estimation of what would go back into the lots is accounted for in the drainage. So anybody that buys the lot will already have a sort of a ready-made, shovel-ready lot to go. So, and I guess I can have Deb go over the plan and kind of point you in the right and give you the engineering specifics that are above my pay grade.
Good evening, Deb Keller. Steve, you did a great job. I don't know if there's any more I can add. We did adjust the drainage so that we have these two smaller drainage basins, as Steve mentioned, on the parcel lots. We have an equalizer pipe between the two smaller basins, which then they both have an infiltration component in them with an overflow over to the larger basin, which the way that we looked at it is we didn't want to impact. We are expanding the existing basin that's on the DPW parcel now, but we didn't want to impact the storage that's needed under existing conditions. So none of the storage for this existing portion of the basin was considered in the analysis, so that we ensured that the capacity of this entire system could handle both the DPW parcel as well as the proposed definitive subdivision. As mentioned, we did shift one other thing with adjusting the trees. We shifted the sidewalk so that it would be up against the curb for the remaining portion of Road B. So we have vertical granite curb, sidewalk, and then the street trees. That was, so we didn't have that extra grass strip and have unsuccessful street trees in that grass strip. So I think other than that, Steve touched upon everything. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions from the board members right now? Greg, do you have any comments?
Nope, we do have Pat here.
Okay. Pat, I'll let you address your comments.
Sure, thanks, Mike. I sent Greg an email about an hour and a half ago. I reviewed the revised plans and stormwater report that they submitted, and I'm comfortable with the stormwater design, comfortable with the design of the subdivision. There was kind of 3 outstanding issues. One of them is about doing test pits in those basins.
Yeah.
They want to, in a response letter to my original review, they were asking if that could be a condition of approval. Based on the soils that I saw out on the 985 Plain Street site, as well as the soil mapping, I don't really have a problem with that because it should all be sandy soil out there. And like Deb said, they're enlarging the existing basin that DPW constructed on their property. So we know there's good material in that area as well. My next comment was that both of the construction phase and the long-term operation and maintenance plans for the stormwater systems reference DPW as one of the parties responsible, and it's because they own part of the roadway. And I know that they've met with DPW, and provided that DPW was comfortable with that, I don't have a problem with that. I just wanted to identify that for the planning board and the DPW. And then in my last letter on November 30th of last year, there's an existing septic system on the 975 Plain Street property that will need to be moved or, well, basically replaced for the construction of Road B. And in their response, they said that it would be replaced prior to the completion of Road B. And if the board approves the project, I would just recommend a condition that be included as a condition that be done. And that's really all I had at this point. Everything else looked good.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Anything to add, Greg?
No.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the board members? All right, let's go to the public. If you hear from the public, just raise your hand. I see Shauna, it looks like your hand's raised on virtually there, so I'll let you go. Name and address, if you please.
So I own a unit on Parish Path.
Can you just do your name and address first, Shauna?
Pardon?
Can you do your name and address, please?
Shauna Manning, 32 Parish Path.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
And I had brought up the concern in December about Parish Path and turning left from Parish Path onto Plain Street. So you said, or someone said, that the DOT has said that won't be a problem at all.
Greg, can you respond to that?
I wasn't the one who said it. All I know is from our discussions with Sowing Seeds, that Sowing Seeds was not in favor of, we had talked about putting in a straighter driveway to get onto School Street. And they were not in favor of that plan. They would lose parking spaces. They have basically said that people use their driveway, which so long as they don't have events going on, they understand that people use that driveway. Our understanding from discussions with Mass Highway was that the distance from where we were proposing to have that driveway come out was much closer to the signalized intersection than the current Parish Path, and that they were in favor of the Parish Path entrance.
Okay,
Steve,
I'm not
anything to add?
talking about entrance. I'm talking about egress, leaving Parish Path.
I meant it as both.
Okay.
Excellent.
Have any of you actually been down there and looked at it physically, or just on the charts and maps?
I've been in and out of there many times.
And I took Fred Monaco down there as well.
Yeah, we walked it. We looked at, we went around the whole property there.
Okay, and do you know if the DOT had actually been there or if they just looked at measurements?
I don't know about DOT.
Okay. Okay. I still have concerns on it.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. Looks like Erin, you have your hand up. Can you give your name and address?
Hi, Erin Skevington, 27 Parish Path. I was having the same concerns as well. I was more concerned that Sowing Seeds might put up some sort of gate or something if they do notice people starting to use that road more frequently than they already have been. So I just didn't know if they had expressed any sort of concern about that, other than when the events are going on. I know they're only open, I think, like 2 hours a week. So
in the discussion that Mike Maresco, the town administrator, and I had with the Sowing Seeds person, it was when they have events, they don't really want you using the driveway. And that they have that sign up for insurance purposes and stuff in case somebody has an accident on their property.
Okay.
There's no discussion of putting a gate or anything on that.
Okay.
All right, anything else, Erin?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else from the public have their hand up? I'm just searching through, I don't see anybody. So Greg, we're probably ready for a vote on this. Do you have the?
Actually, I was going to suggest you close the public hearing, and I would draft a decision for the next meeting.
Okay, along with those conditions that Pat had mentioned?
Yep.
Okay, that'd be great. Any other questions for the board before I close the hearing?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing for 965 through 985 Plain Street. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick? She's still on Nick. Where'd he go? Fred? Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye. Okay, that's closed. Greg will send us out a decision and we can vote on that at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks.
Bye, Steve.
All right, next we're moving on to the Juniper Road street improvements. Is that actually moving forward, Greg?
Yes, you've closed the public hearing.
Yep.
I've sent you a draft decision. So
Okay.
basically the board to review the draft decision and decide what you'd like to do.
Okay, was there any questions on the decision for anyone?
No.
Everyone have the draft decision? Okay. All right, seeing no issues. Greg, you're good if we go to a vote?
Yep.
Okay, is there a number for Juniper Road at all? It's just those
I
two
have
lots?
it, actually, no, I just have it as Juniper Road. Give me one
Okay.
second.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve the decision for Juniper Road street improvements. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Nick? That's so weird, Nick. You're on, you weren't muted, but I still couldn't hear you.
Here it is.
Oh, wait. No, I see your mouth moving and I see you're not muted, but I can't hear you. How about just give us a thumbs up? There we go. I think sign language must work, right, Greg?
He did not acknowledge it, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Nick said yes. Fred?
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
And Mike Viviano, aye.
And Mike,
Okay.
the references are I-150301 and I-150102 Juniper Road.
Okay, we'll have you put that in the minutes there. If you could, please. Karen, any minutes to approve? No, okay. Let's see, Greg, board staff report?
So upcoming on March 9th, we're going to have a public meeting on the beach nourishment. And we may have some news that it could be as soon as next winter. March 13th is our zoning public hearing. We'll also have the decision for Plain Street. And I will need to have a discussion with the planning board on the MBTA Communities Action Plan. And then following our meeting and discussion, I will be doing another presentation to the board, select board. on that.
Okay, sounds good. Is that it, Craig?
Yeah, Karen, anything?
Okay, anything for any of the board members? All right, seeing none, thank you for being here. I'll make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Is there a second?
Second, Katie O'Donnell. Aye, Katie O'Donnell.
Did
Nick.
we approve the minutes, Mike?
There were no
There's
minutes.
no minutes. Karen said no minutes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick,
Nick
No,
says
okay.
yes.
or just thumbs up.
I got a thumbs up.
We got a thumbs up.
Fred,
Fred Monaco, aye.
Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, aye.
and Mike Viviano, aye. All right, that concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, good night.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Good night.